This is a Sudoku, and I would like to show you a method I came up with several years ago on how to solve Sudoku. Instead of trying to figure out what numbers are in the square, I thought I'd work on what numbers cannot be in that square. And I came up with a technique where you divide each square into 9. So if I take a square, I break it up into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 sectors in that order. So if I look at the number and see that it cannot be a 1, then I would put it in the top right hand corner of that square. If I decide it cannot be a 2, I put a dot there and show that it cannot be a 2. It cannot be a 3, dot 3, and so on. And in the most basic technique, if you end up with only one possibility left, that is going to be the number. So in this case, everything else has got a dot in it except the 8. So that would be an 8. So let's try this in an actual application. We have a Sudoku, a beginner's one, because we're showing you just the basic technique. And I look at this square, start at the square. I'm going to start with dealing with this block. Notice in this block there is an 8, so every square in that block cannot be an 8. So for every square inside that block, I put a dot where the 8 would be. So the middle bottom. Also notice it cannot be a 1. So the 1 is the top left, so I put a dot in the top left of every block. Cannot be a 4. The 4, 1, 2, 3, 4 is in the middle on the left. So 1, it's a 4, that's a 4, that's a 4, that's a 4. And I also see that it cannot be a 7. So 7, using this system, is left hand side, bottom left. So I fill in all of the ones inside the block, bottom left. I then look along the rows. I see this row, it cannot be a 9. 9 is bottom right. So along this row, I will fill in the 9. Look at these two squares. It says this cannot be a 4 or a 9. There's already a dot where the 4 is. So put a dot where the 9 is. It also cannot be a 2 or a 6. So 2 is top middle and a 6 is middle right. And we carry on. This one, this cannot be a 6. 6 is middle right, 8 is bottom. 6 is middle right, 8 is bottom. Cannot be a 7. 7 is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 is bottom left. So it cannot be, there's no point in doing that. I then look up the columns. There's no numbers there, so nothing I can do. Look at this. This cannot be a 2 or a 3. So 2, 1, 2, 3. It also cannot be a 1 or an 8. Then I look at this row. This cannot be a 5 or a 6 or a 7. So a 5 is middle, 6, 7. So I will fill in here. Cannot be a 5, a 6 or a 7. Cannot be a 5, a 6 or a 7. Cannot be a 5, a 6 or a 7. At this point I notice now that this square here has 8 filled in and 1 empty. To me that means I look at the empty space, which corresponds to the 3. So this is a 3, so I now fill in a 3 there. This is more information. It means none of these blocks can be a 3, so I will put a dot in the top right hand, each of these, because remember it's 1, 2, 3. I will also put a dot in the 3 spot along the row. And I'll put a spot in the 3 spot, in the square, in the 3 spot, going down. I now can look above here and I see this now has 8 spots in it and 1 empty, 1 void. That void corresponds to the top middle, which is a 2. So this is a 2. So that cannot be a 2. That cannot be a 2. That cannot be a 2. Looking along the row, that can't be a 2. None of those can be a 2. Looking down the column, that cannot be a 2. That cannot be a 2. And that cannot be a 2. I now see this one has 8, which it cannot be. So there's only one possibility here. The bottom right is a 9. So again, I start in the block. Any others in there? I then do along the row, fill in the 9 spot, go down the column, 9 spot, 9 spot, 9 spot. Again, there's 8 here, there's only one void. The middle is a 5. So fill in that 5 spot. Through. I fill in the block, I fill in along the row, I fill in down the column. And again, now we've got one square left here. We've covered every other possibility, so this must be, looking at that void, that's a 6. So I can't put any more in the block. I can check 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That's correct. It's a 6, so I put a dot there, dot there, dot there. I then go down 6. So we'll do this block and then this block. So this one, for these squares, none of these squares can be a 4, a 6, an 8 or a 9. So 4 is there, 6 is there, 8 is in the centre, 9. So 4, 6, 8, 9. 4, 6, 8, 9. 4, 6, 8, 9. 4, 6, 8, 9. I look along the rows. Because I've been putting dots in as I go, I don't have to do these numbers. They've already got their dots put in. I don't have to look at these printed numbers. So this cannot be an 8. It cannot be 9 on that row. For this row, this cannot be a 1 or a 7. And it cannot be a 2 or a 6. A 2. Okay, I know that that's a void, but I'll finish off the block before I come back to that. This one cannot be a 4 or a 7. So looking at this one here has 8 of the 9 possible positions filled, so this must be a 5. So I put a 5 spot in there, I put 5 in the rest of the blocks. Go along the row, I go down, 5, 5, 5. Okay, so I can't do any more, so I'll shift on to the other one. This technique is sufficient to do simple Sudoku by themselves. For more difficult Sudoku, we need more advanced techniques, which we will deal with in later videos. So let's just do one more across here. In this block, these squares cannot have a 2, 6, 7 or 9. So that's a 2, 6, 7, 9. 2, 6, 7, 9. 2, 6, 7, 9. 2, 6, 7, 9. 2, 6, 7, 9. So let's go across. Going across, these cannot be an 8, so the 8 is the bottom middle. This one cannot be a 1, a 7, a 4 or a 9. Again, there's now only one possibility, but I'm going to continue on just so I don't forget where I am. So this one cannot be a 4, a 6 or an 8. This also cannot be a 4, a 6 or an 8. Doing the columns, that cannot be an 8. Doing columns, this one cannot be a 1, cannot be a 2, it cannot be a 3, cannot be a 9. And last column, so this one cannot be a 3 or a 4, cannot be a 3 or a 4, cannot be a 3 or a 4. So now we're going to go back and do those voids. So this can only be an 8 because there's a gap in the bottom middle. These cannot be 8. That cannot be 8. Let's check 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That's correct. We look at this one. There's one void here, so that can only be a 1. We do the rest of the blocks. We do the column. Say it can't be a 1. We do the row. It can't be a 1. Now we're starting to get a lot of voids, singletons. So this one has only got one choice. This can only be a 5. So fill in any on in the block, any on the row, any on the column. So this one can now only be a 3. So nothing else. 3. Nothing on that row to the column. This one, we've covered all of the spaces except the 4, so that's definitely a 4. That can't be a 4, it can't be a 4, can't be a 4. Let's just check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Definitely not a 4. Going back to this one can now only be a 2. So again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And we carry on in this vein until we've done the whole puzzle. As I said, at this level, this is the only technique you need. When we get into medium difficulty or hard difficulty, we can extend this sort of measle technique to deal with harder situations and much more difficult puzzles. Until then, happy solving.